Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Other Record Labels. I'm your host, Scott Orr, where we talk about the art and culture of running an indie record label. And today I want to be quick, and I want to talk about how to write an artist bio. Now, instead of listening to this, or in tandem to listening to this, if you're a follower of our podcast, make sure you go back to the previous episode where I interview Sammy Main, who is a professional writer and editor and author. And she helped walk us through the process of creating an effective artist bio. In fact, you can even hire her to write an artist bio for you. But I want to give you 3 tips today that will help you do a better job at writing bios. And it's something that came out of our conversation. And again, I can't stress this enough. Make sure you listen to this Industry Insiders episode that we did with Sammy. It's the previous one on our podcast. So make sure you listen to that interview. And I'll also, if you watch these on YouTube, I'll provide a link in the description below on how you can get access to that. But I want to talk about 3 things that I pulled out of our interview that were enormously helpful for me, and I think you'll find helpful as well. In fact, as we're talking about writing a bio, and I understand, and I talk about this in the episode with Sammy, but I understand that crafting a bio is such an arduous process. It's such a heavy process. I think artists hate to talk about music, hate to talk about how they came up with things. Labels are always asking artists to write a bio or to provide some sort of context for their album and their new release coming out for press or for distributors or for social media platforms. So it is this thing that we all have to do whenever we're rolling out a new record. It's such a tricky thing. For some reason, putting words to our creative process can be kind of tricky. And so there's some really interesting strategies in here. I acknowledge that it's a tough thing to do. As I'm putting these together, I want to remind you, I'm going to update our record label toolkit. So we have this toolkit that you can get for free on our website, otherrecordlabels.com/toolkit. And in this toolkit, I'm going to update it with a little bit of a package for bio writing. And so I'm going to include some of these tips and then a little bit of examples in there as well. So make sure you go back to otherrecordlabels.com/toolkit and download the updated toolkit because we're going to put a little bit of a bio feature in there as well. And that's a free download. Where do you use artist bios? Well, just to first, the obvious spots would be websites on your record label website or on your band's website. Also on social media platforms. So maybe there's a big section for it in the bio section on Spotify. You can actually put quite a few words in there. Same with on Instagram bio. I mean, it's much shorter, but you can put something in there, or your Twitter bio, or even photo captions. A lot of times when you're describing an album and debuting it to the world, it's on Instagram. And this is something you can actually put in a really long form caption. So there are a lot of uses for them, and they're also nice to hang on to. I keep them in my spreadsheet that has all the album information in it, and I keep it there because sometimes a blog will ask for it, or press or a distributor. Someone will say, hey, do you have a bio for this record or for this artist? So I can just copy and paste it and send it over. Here's 3 tips to making a great bio. First of all, and this is less so about how to make a bio, but something that really stood out to me was Sammy had recommended to put your subject line or treat your subject line of your email pitches as a mini bio. So you understand what that means is basically we send these press pitches to, blogs and curators and writers, and we hope that they listen to our music. And often for me, I've always put artist name, album title, and release date in the subject line of the email. So Sammy's suggestion was to instead say, maybe like a one-liner about the genre or the emotion of the record and then the new artist. Or, maybe it's just like a brand new Indian folk artist. Something that might catch people's attention a little bit more than just saying who the artist is and the release date, which I am guilty of. I do that all the time. So I love that tip. That's tip number 1, is treat the subject line as a mini bio. Number 2, and this is another great tip, when we're trying to create an artist bio, have a conversation with the artist. Maybe it's you and the artist. Maybe it's the artist and their manager or their friend or girlfriend or boyfriend or something like that. Have a conversation with the artist and record it. So sit on the back porch, on the front porch, sit in the living room, have an hour-long chat about this record and record it. And then you or their publicist go back over and listen to the episode, listen to the recording, and pull out tidbits and little things that they say, one-liners that you can use in a bio. This is Sammy's idea. It's a fantastic idea. I love it. There's so much organic conversation that comes out of just a natural conversation. There's so many great truths that will come out of that, and I think that's really important. And then the final thing is to bring in an outside perspective. And so whether this is hiring a bio writer like Sammy, or this is hiring another writer that you find, or a writer that you admire, or a friend of yours, or somebody in the band, or not somebody in the band, because the idea is that we bring in an outside perspective. And so I really like that piece of advice. And I think that could really help. Sometimes we can't always afford it. Maybe there's a friend who's a writer who is a fan of the band who would want to do that. But what's really cool about it is if they get an advanced listen to the record, they can sit with the record for a couple weeks, and then they can come and interview, or they can come and interview and then put together a bio on the album. And they have such a unique perspective. For us as artists or as labels who've been involved in the project for a long time, we can really have a hard time seeing the whole forest for all the trees in front of us. So I think it's really cool to bring in an outside perspective. Like I said, a couple things I want you to remember. Go back and listen to our interview on bio writing. It's a long form interview with Sammy Main if you haven't already. Go to our website, otherrecordlabels.com/toolkit. And in our record label toolkit, I'm going to put some more resources for bio writing that you can find and download for free in there. And I'll go back over these 3 tips. Number 1, use your subject line as a mini bio. Number 2, have a conversation with the artist and use the transcript of that conversation to help you craft a bio. And number 3, bring in an outside perspective. I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for listening.